faithfully sharing valuable insights from great books worldwide.
Hi, this is Sally with Book Talk.
Today, the book we're interpreting for you is Behavioral Design, with the subtitle Creating Peak Experiences. Psychologists have found that when people evaluate an experience, they don't recall the whole thing. Instead, they judge it based on a few key moments.
One such key moment is the peak moment, which is the best or worst part of any experience.
A good peak moment is unforgettable and can boost people's overall rating of an event or experience.
For example, a free, delicious ice cream from a restaurant might save an otherwise mediocre dinner.
A visitor who waited in lines all day at a theme park might feel the whole day was amazing because of a magical fireworks show at night. This behavioral design book we're discussing today will teach you how to design satisfying peak moments. Honestly, whether you're in product design, creative marketing, or any field, you'll need this skill at some point in work or life. The authors are Chip Heath and Dan Heath, a pair of brothers. Chip's a professor at Stanford Business School, and Dan's a senior researcher at Duke University. Besides this behavioral design, the brothers have published many psychology bestsellers, like Made to Stick and Decisive. We at Sally's Book Talk have covered the Heath brothers before. Research shows peak moments relate to four factors: delight, insight, pride, and connection. By adding one or more of these factors to an experience, we can create unforgettable peak moments. Next, I'll start with these four factors and break them down one by one for you. First up is the factor delight, meaning creating extraordinary, pleasant experiences. Creating delightful experiences determines how many loyal customers a business gets and how much profit it makes. Data analysis shows that compared to averagely satisfied customers, the most satisfied ones spend 1 to 2 times more each year. So, how do we create delightful experiences? We'll cover three methods. The first is boosting sensory enjoyment, making things extraordinary in sight, taste, sound, etc., so it feels special and leaves a lasting impression. When we attend important ceremonies like weddings or graduations, we wear elegant, eye-catching attire, decorate the venue extravagantly, and provide music and gourmet food, all to heighten sensory stimulation. The book cites an example: the Magic Castle Hotel in Los Angeles, ranked among the top 3 in customer experience in the area. Externally, this hotel looks ordinary, like a budget motel with dated rooms and basic furniture. Yet its prices aren't low. It's comparable to Hilton or Marriott, but the Magic Castle Hotel excels at creating surprises. For example, there are landline phones by the hotel pool. While swimming, if you want a cold treat, just make a call. It'll arrive within a minute. Staff in white gloves bring various flavored popsicles on silver trays for complimentary tasting. This sensory-rich experience impresses guests deeply. The second method for creating delight is adding moderate tension or pressure, making the experience extraordinary. A common approach is putting people in the spotlight. For instance, inviting audience members on stage during performances makes them slightly nervous yet thrilled, leaving lasting impressions. The third delight-creating method is breaking the script, where script means predictable yet unremarkable experiences. Breaking the script means exceeding expectations to create surprise. The book shares an example. A couple vacationed with their son at the Ritz-Carlton. After returning home, the boy discovered he'd left his giraffe stuffed animal at the hotel and was distraught. And the father comforted him, saying the toy was extending its vacation at the hotel. Later, the father contacted the Ritz-Carlton asking for a poolside photo of the toy to cheer his son. Days later, the giraffe arrived home with a stack of photos. In the photos, it wasn't just poolside relaxing, it played with hotel parrots.
And enjoyed spa massages.
After the father shared this online, the Ritz-Carlton earned widespread praise. Surprises exceeding expectations bring direct benefits. A hotel study shows when customers feel surprised, 94% recommend the hotel, an exceptionally high rate driving many businesses to create surprises. For example, in some restaurants, If the server knows it's your birthday, they'll give you a birthday cake and get the whole place singing happy birthday to you. Whereas in some coffee shops, the owner gives customers almond cookies every Friday, but the authors note that breaking the script can itself become a new script. If the coffee shop always gives cookies on Fridays, customers quickly stop being surprised. So the coffee shop faces a dilemma. Keep giving cookies. It's thankless work. Stop giving cookies and customers will definitely complain. Therefore, the authors suggest adding randomness when breaking the script.
Staff can give them out because they like someone's tie or fancy a girl?
Overall, about 1/3 of customers get freebies with no predictable pattern, preventing surprises from becoming routine and keeping things fresh. All right, to wrap up, let's summarize the first factor of peak moments. Delight. Delightful experiences are about creating enjoyable moments that go beyond everyday life. There are 3 methods. First, enhance sensory enjoyment. Second, make people feel moderate tension and pressure. Third, break the script to create surprise, adding randomness to avoid it becoming predictable. Having covered delight, let's move to the second factor of peak moments. Insight. At certain special moments, our understanding undergoes major breakthroughs. We change how we view things, gaining deeper insights into the world and ourselves. The book introduces 2 methods for achieving cognitive breakthroughs. The first method is getting tripped up by reality, meaning letting ideas clash with reality to change views and spark new epiphanies. This method helps people accept truths they're reluctant to face. The book gives an example. Microsoft launched a cloud computing service platform where other companies can develop apps. Scott Guthrie, the platform's lead, found users felt it was complex and had a poor user experience, but many Microsoft employees didn't realize these flaws and lacked motivation to improve. Guthrie understood that to enhance user experience, employees first needed to admit the problems existed.
Instead of persuading them, Guthrie assigned a task. Have them use the platform to develop an app as if they were users.
As a result, many encountered issues. Some couldn't use features smoothly, others couldn't even register. After this, everyone agreed the platform needed a total rebuild, showing the power of getting tripped up by reality. It's not just telling others the answer. It's about letting people directly experience the dissatisfaction that reality brings. This kind of firsthand experience leads to the most impactful cognitive change, triggering direct action. The second method for cognitive breakthroughs is self-breakthrough, meaning challenging risks to increase self-understanding. The kind of life we have and the achievements we gain often depend on how we view ourselves. If a student believes they have poor innate learning abilities, they might not take studying seriously and won't achieve good grades. If an employee thinks they're not cut out for management, when faced with a promotion opportunity, they might feel anxious and choose to give up. But often, these ideas may not be correct. The author encourages people to test these ideas with actual actions. Students can study their hardest for exams to see what results they achieve. The first one was for the Boston Courage. Employees can accept promotions and personally experience management roles. If they achieve results, that's naturally great. Even if they fail, we can determine what we're not good at, which helps us plan our future direction. The author believes that so-called failure isn't not achieving the desired outcome, but rather not trying what you want to do. As long as we persist in challenging risks and learn from failures, we can increase our self-understanding, finding the field that suits us best. That's the meaning of self-breakthrough. Often, self-breakthrough requires an external push. When we have the chance to help others break through, besides encouraging them to bravely take challenges, we can assist them in 2 ways. First, we should set high standard goals and express confidence in their ability to achieve them. This motivates others to break through more actively. In a study, 44 middle school students wrote an essay as required. After writing, the teacher graded the essays and added comments, and researchers randomly selected half of them. Well, At the end of the comments, they added a sentence. I'm writing these comments to give you feedback information, which is standard feedback. For the other half, the comments ended with, I'm writing these comments because I have high expectations for you and I believe you can do better. This belongs to high standard confidence feedback. After receiving the essays, students could choose whether to revise them and get regraded. The results showed that among those who received standard feedback, only 40% chose to revise their essays. 80% of those who received high expectation feedback revised their essays, making twice as many revisions as other students. Second, we need to set specific directions for effort and provide corresponding support. Dale Phelps was Director of Quality and Service at an American engine company. To improve engine production efficiency and quality, he hired Ranganayake, a mechanical engineering master's graduate, to optimize factory processes. But Ranganayake's previous work was in data analysis, and she lacked practical knowledge of factory production. Plus, being an Indian woman, she lacked authority in the factory and couldn't gain colleagues' trust. Ranganayake began doubting herself, feeling unfit for the role. Dale encouraged Ranganayake to push beyond her limits. He gave concrete direction, suggested she frequently visit the factory floor to compensate for her inexperience. He also provided direct support. Assigned a female executive to mentor Ranganayake through factory tours and operational guidance.
Ranganayake quickly mastered the operations and earned colleagues' trust.
Her self-perception transformed too.
She shut self-doubt, realizing she could excel, not just in data, but as a hands-on expert.
All right, let's summarize the second factor of peak moments: insight. At certain moments, people's understanding shifts, leading to deeper comprehension of the world and self-transformation. Two methods exist. First, letting others get tripped by reality to experience dissatisfaction and acknowledge problems. Second, self-breakthrough to enhance self-knowledge. We can help others challenge themselves by setting high standards and providing specific guidance. Now let's move to the third factor: moments of pride that capture our achievements and fill us with accomplishment. 3 methods create pride moments. The first method is recognizing others. If you want to create pride moments for others, this is the simplest approach, especially crucial for managers in acknowledging employees. Roosevelt University conducted 4 similar surveys over 46 years, asking employees to rate factors affecting work motivation. In all 4 surveys, only one factor consistently ranked top 2. It was receiving full recognition when completing work. Another study also found that the main reason employees quit is not getting enough praise and recognition. Many managers regularly organize activities, like selecting the Employee of the Month, to praise outstanding employees.
But the authors believe this formal recognition isn't enough to motivate employees, because such events usually have fixed standards deciding who gets recognized.
For example, in an insurance company, the employee who sells the most policies each month might get praised. As a result, those praised are always the same 2 or 3 highly capable people, which doesn't motivate others, and recognition loses its meaning. How do we solve this problem? The authors suggest managers should praise based on employees' specific behaviors, not uniform final standards. Whenever someone makes an effort or shows progress, praise them promptly. The book gives an example. Keith Reisinger, a sales manager at a pharma company, who tailors special rewards based on each salesperson's performance. For instance, one salesperson who listened carefully to doctors' needs and recommended the right meds was rewarded at a sales meeting. Headphones symbolized his patient listening. Another salesperson showed strong curiosity, so Keith gave them outdoor gear with the slogan, "Never stop exploring." This personalized reward made the salespeople feel Keith paid attention to their work, boosting their motivation.
Plus, with no fixed standards, anyone who excels in some aspect can get recognized, motivating employees to work hard for it.
Also, the authors suggest managers increase recognition frequency to at least once a week to inspire more employees. The second way to create pride moments is setting more milestones. We feel pride often comes from achieving goals, like acing an exam or learning a new skill. But achieving goals ain't easy in many cases. Take learning the violin, for example. From finger exercises to stumbling through tunes to finally playing smoothly, each step takes heaps of effort, and many folks can't handle the long, boring practice and quit halfway. For this situation, the author suggests breaking big goals into smaller ones and setting multiple intermediate milestones. Take learning violin, for example. We can set the first milestone as consistently attending weekly lessons. The second milestone is finding a relatively simple piece you enjoy, like Joe Hisaishi's Castle in the Sky, and learning to read sheet music. The third milestone is being able to play Castle in the Sky yourself. The fourth milestone is switching to a harder piece, practicing until mastered, progressing level by level toward the ultimate goal of performing a 30-minute violin set at a bar. Setting multiple milestones has two advantages. First, it transforms one big goal into many small targets. Completing each gives us a sense of progress and achievement, multiplying pride moments. Second, compared to distant final goals, each milestone feels attainable, boosting motivation through the milestone effect. University of Chicago researchers analyzed over 9 million marathon runners globally. Most finished between 3.5 to 5 hours, with identical patterns at 4, 4.5, and 5-hour marks. Slightly before these times, finishers significantly outnumbered those just after. At the 4-hour mark specifically, between 355 to 400, many runners finished. But once past 4 a.m., finishers from 4 to 4 to 5 plummeted drastically. Most marathoners are casual runners. Someone finishing at 358 versus 422 reflects normal performance variation at the same skill level. So finisher counts should change gradually around each time point, not drop sharply. This is caused by the milestone effect. Runners treat every half hour as a milestone. Those near 4 hours feel it's achievable, pushing harder at the finish to hit that mark. The third way to create pride moments is practicing courage. Acting bravely brings great pride, like standing up for others or conquering fears. But these moments often arrive suddenly and vanish quickly. We often regret not taking the right action after things have passed. The author believes that we can't predict when these moments will come, but we can build courage and prepare in advance. Building courage requires us to practice gradually and progressively. And so, and in one experiment, researchers gathered a group of people who are afraid of spiders. The researchers first broke down the process of overcoming spider fear into 14 steps. For each step, the researcher demonstrated it first, then had others follow along. For example, step 1 is standing 1.5 meters away from the container with the spider.
Step 3 is pressing the palm against the surface of the spider container.
Step 7 is using a toothbrush to guide the spider's direction. Step 9 is wearing thick gloves and letting the spider crawl over your hand.
The final step is having people place the spider in their bare palm. The experiment's effect was very significant.
At the beginning, people only dared to stand 3 meters away from the spider.
But after 2 hours, they had completed all 14 steps, able to let the spider crawl over their palm. And this method had great sustainability.
6 months later, these people still dared to touch spiders. If you're afraid of something, you can try using gradual practice to overcome it. Besides this, we can also simulate responses in advance for possible situations. For example, I can tell myself that if a colleague pushes work onto me, I shouldn't agree immediately. Instead, I should assess my workload and coordinate with my supervisor. Oh, I certainly, if the leader urges me to drink at a dinner, I'll say my liver is not good and the doctor advised me to quit alcohol. The benefit of this simulation is that it establishes a conditioned reflex through imagination in advance. When the situation actually happens, we can take action immediately without thinking about how to respond, avoiding delayed reactions. All right, to summarize, The third factor of peak moments is pride, which fills people with a sense of accomplishment. The three methods to create pride moments are recognizing others, setting multiple milestones, and building courage. Finally, the fourth factor of peak moments is connection, which deepens bonds with others, making us feel united and in sync. I'll introduce methods to strengthen connection from both team and individual levels. First, for teams, strengthening connections among team members and boosting team cohesion can determine a company's future prospects. Executing the company's key strategies requires employees across all roles to align their thinking and collaborate, enabling efficient, comprehensive improvement in service quality. The author introduces three strategies to boost team cohesion. The first strategy is creating moments of synchronized action. This means unifying team perspectives through collective influence. Psychologists found people are 30 times more likely to speak up publicly than privately. As social creatures craving recognition and belonging, we instinctively mimic others to show agreement and group identity. Thus, when announcing major strategies, companies should gather employees for face-to-face briefings, not just email, where leaders explain needed changes, what these changes mean, and how employees should contribute. Such collective rituals help employees understand the strategy's significance and ignite motivation. Moreover, the group's infectious energy spreads this drive, uniting everyone toward shared goals. This becomes the peak moment determining employee unity and team cohesion. The second strategy is having teams endure hardships together. Psychologists found people sharing unpleasant experiences bond more closely, uniting faster as a result. In one study, researchers had one group sort items with hands in ice water, another in warm water. Results showed the ice water group felt closer connections. Thus, companies can assign challenging group tasks to build cohesion. If such tasks aren't available, team building activities like high rope courses can foster mutual support and unity. The third strategy is evoking purpose, feeling one's work has significant meaning and contributes to others. Research shows purpose not only fuels passion but improves actual performance. People sharing purpose naturally unite and collaborate toward goals. So, how do we evoke this sense of purpose in employees? When we attend important ceremonies like weddings or graduations, we wear elegant, eye-catching attire, decorate the venue extravagantly, and provide music and gourmet food, all to heighten sensory stimulation. But, the book cites an example. The Magic Castle Hotel in Los Angeles ranked among the top 3 in customer experience in the area. Externally, this hotel looks ordinary, like a budget motel, with dated rooms and basic furniture, yet its prices aren't low. It's comparable to Hilton or Marriott, but the Magic Castle Hotel excels at creating surprises. For example, there are landline phones by the hotel pool. While swimming, if you want a cold treat, just make a call. It'll arrive within a minute. Staff in white gloves bring various flavored popsicles on silver trays for complimentary tasting. This sensory-rich experience impresses guests deeply. The second method for creating delight is adding moderate tension or pressure, making the experience extraordinary. A common approach is putting people in the spotlight. For instance, inviting audience members on stage during performances makes them slightly nervous yet thrilled, leaving lasting impressions. Not that the third delight-creating method is breaking the script, where script means predictable yet unremarkable experiences. Breaking the script means exceeding expectations to create surprise. The book shares an example. A couple vacationed with their son at the Ritz-Carlton. After returning home, the boy discovered he'd left his giraffe-stuffed animal at the hotel and was distraught. The father comforted him, saying the toy was extending its vacation at the hotel. Later, the father contacted the Ritz-Carlton asking for a poolside photo of the toy to cheer his son. Days later, the giraffe arrived home with a stack of photos.
In the photos, it wasn't just poolside relaxing. It played with hotel parrots and enjoyed spa massages.
After the father shared this online, the Ritz-Carlton earned widespread praise. Surprises exceeding expectations bring direct benefits. For teams, we can foster team cohesion by creating moments of synchronized action, sharing hardships, and evoking a sense of purpose. On a personal level, we can respond with understanding, affirmation, and care to gain trust and strengthen intimate relationships. With that said, we've almost covered the book, Behavioral Design. Now let's review its main content. In any experience, peak moments are crucial as they shape our perception of the entire event. The authors, the Heath brothers, believe that each of us can become designers of peak experiences, bringing delight to ourselves and others, sparking insights, creating pride, and fostering connections, thus crafting meaningful peak moments that illuminate our lives. All right, behavioral, that concludes our interpretation of design for you. The reading notes are below the audio, and we'll see you tomorrow.